Hello and welcome to mprugs.com. My name is Mike Panna. I'm the owner of the business, and in this video I want to talk to you about something that I get a lot of questions about, emails and phone calls at times, and that is about the Turkish Hereke rugs. These are some of the most beautiful types of hand-knotted Persian rugs, but unfortunately there is a huge amount of fraud that is associated with it. This is something that we in the rug business are certainly not proud of. I mean, I love the Persian rugs and you can see them in my website, but I'm also the type of person that when I see something that is so obviously fraud, and unfortunately in the case of the Turkish Hereke rugs, there is so much misinformation out there, and there are so many people who have been, well, I don't know how else to put it. I'm just going to call it for the way I see it. I'm being born, raised in Germany. There's a lot of fraud out there. So unfortunately, I've had a lot of people who have emailed me and called me. They were excited about a rug that they purchased. Typically either because they went to the Turkish areas as a result of being on a cruise, or they were in the military. And in just about every case, every time for over 20 years that I have gotten phone calls, emails, pictures, I've almost always had to be the bearer of bad news. So in this video, I'm hoping that if you are a fan of the Hereke, the Turkish rugs, or if you're looking at buying one, I'm going to try to be as helpful as I can be so that you can know the difference and that you don't end up being ripped off. And just to show you what I mean, right here to my left, I have two beautiful, genuine Turkish Hereke rugs. Absolutely gorgeous. One here, and then there is a semi-antique piece right here. On my right, there are also two beautiful, gorgeous Hereke rugs. In fact, this turquoise blue is my personal favorite. There is another more classic there. It has a signature on the bottom, which I'm about to show you. What is the difference between these two on my right and these two on my left? These two are actual Turkish Hereke rugs, handmade in Turkey, sold in Turkey. The two on the right of me, including my favorite one, are Hereke rugs that were purchased in Turkey, made in China. And this is something virtually no rug dealer will tell you. These are Chinese Hereke rugs. These on my left are Turkish Hereke rugs, including myself. And I'm 52 years old. I've been in the rug business pretty much all my life. What started out as a hobby, my family is in the rug business and the wholesale business. And so when I created my website 20 years ago as a really more of a hobby, I thought it would be a cool way for me to share what I have learned, my passion, but I wanted to do it in a direct manner. I want you to know that I don't need to give you a bunch of BS in order to sell a rug. And this right here is a perfect example. These 4 rugs right here were all purchased in Turkey. They're all Hereke rugs. 2 of them were made in Turkey, 2 of them were made in China. All of them were sold as Turkish Hereke rugs. Now, again, I'm not trying to make myself sound better than others, but if you look at these 2 rugs on my website, you will notice that it says Chinese. and I'm saying it as loudly, as straightforward as I can. These ones on my left are being sold as Turkish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get behind the camera. I'm going to try to do my very best to show you the difference so that hopefully you don't end up getting trapped. Going into one of the shops in Turkey thinking that they are making rugs and so they must be genuine and all that stuff, when in reality, most of the time, they're making rugs in the showrooms to basically bring in the people and make it look like there's, that they're going to be offering them handmade Turkish rugs, when in reality, they have the Chinese rugs, an ample supply in the back of the warehouse in the shops. This is what they sell. This is not what they make. But the difference is also you have a Chinese one that is typically a third of the value as the real Turkish one. And you can tell there is a huge difference. Just the weight itself. I mean, the Turkish ones this is easily 2 to 3 times the weight. This is really sturdy silk. This is more like a flimsy silk. This is why, actually, when you look at it, the turquoise blue from a distance looks finer than the actual Turkish piece. And oftentimes they are. But 1,800 versus 4,000 to 5,000. That's the difference. They sell you at this price, but they're giving you this. And this is what this video is all about. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swing behind the camera, so that I can give you some close-up info, and hope that this video is of help to you. And so I'm going to see you again here in just a second. All right, so here I am. I swung behind the camera so I can zoom in. I can show you some of the things that you may need to know. One of the things that I always tell my clients, this is the easiest thing that you can do. If you want to know if a rug is really what people are claiming it to be, one of the easiest things to do is to grab a measuring tape. And for example, I'm just going to swing the Hereke rug around. You can take, for example, measuring tape, take a picture, zoom in like a cell phone. I mean, most of us have smartphones by now. Simply take a picture of an inch. Then all you have to do is you're going to count, enlarge the picture, count the knots over 1 inch and square the number, and you have the knots per square inch. If you are outside the United States, count the knots, take a picture, ruler with the centimeters, count the knots over 5 centimeters, double the number. You now have, that tells you how many knots you have per 10 centimeters. Then add a 0 behind it. Now you got 1 meter. You take 1 meter times 1 meter, and you know how many knots per square inch there are on a square meter. Most of the time, this is a great way of knowing if what you're being promised is the real thing, whether they are exaggerating the qualities and all that. But in this video, I'm going to focus on the Hereke rugs, real Turkish versus real Chinese. So if you are buying a silk rug, and these Chinese ones, I mean, like I said, this turquoise blue one is my personal favorite. I love this rug. But there's a difference between an $1,800 rug and a $4,000. And the difference is the silk, the workmanship, and the quality. The Turkish one, much heavier, much denser than the Chinese. If you look at, and I'm just going to zoom in, you can actually see the difference. This is Turkish. You notice the difference? It just looks like this one, it just feels finer. This thickness of the Hereke rugs, this is really what they're renowned for. So even though this Chinese rug may have a higher knot count, this Turkish one is far more valuable and it is far more durable. So, but generally speaking, most of the people who buy these types of rugs, they hang them on walls, they put them in special places. So no matter which you do, both of them are probably going to live you a lifetime. But again, this rug is worth about half as much as this one, Turkish versus Chinese, and both are roughly the same size. You will also notice, and this is another dead giveaway, the edge of the Hereke rugs, if it is really straight, it tends to be Chinese. Real Turkish ones, you can see it. It's actually, let me see if I can, there we go. By flipping it around, it looks like the weaver, I mean, it's straight, but I think the weaver was smoking something. And this is what you're looking for. You want that handmade feel and look. Whereas, even though these are also handmade, you can tell just by the thickness of it that this is really sturdy. This is much, much more thinner, flimsier. And another thing that I want you to look for, and this is very, very unfortunately important. This right here, these two are both Chinese. Again, those Turkish, Chinese. But guess what? They put the Hereke signature on the Chinese one. They know, the weavers know, the people who buy these rugs tend to be dealers who are going to turn around and sell them in their own workshops. So this is a typical thing that you will see. You have the signature of, and it says Hereke. You have the signature there. You walk into a shop. You just got off the cruise ship. Supposedly they have promised you a reputable guy who's going to take you around, or maybe you went on your own. You went to one of the rug shops. You found a beautiful silk Hereke rug. They're telling you all kinds of stories. What I want you to know, just because it has a signature and it says Hereke doesn't mean that it's a Turkish Hereke. Another thing I want you to notice, the Turkish government is actually trying to do their best. And I don't have the paperwork here to actually show you, but this is also something you can use. Just about every rug has some sort of tag on the back. Look on the source. If it says CN, letters CN means China. Also, if they say Turkmenistan, and this rug actually, this Hereke was sold originally on the back of the tag, it actually said Turkmenistan. And the Turkish store owner sold it to the client thinking, and the client thought, well, Turkmenistan is in Turkey. Wrong. Turkmenistan is, I believe, Western China. It's southwest or somewhere in China. The Turkish government requires that the Hereke rugs, that they all have the names and the origin and everything in the paperwork. And so they don't say made in China. They oftentimes simply, they just put somewhere CN, which is code for China. And then they'll put on their Turkmenistan. So this is easy pointers. I'm hoping that this helps you. Like I said, it bothers me a lot. These are beautiful rugs. Like I said, I have absolutely no problems recommending the obvious Turkish Hereke rugs, which have now become almost very hard to find because of the cost of the new pieces. The cost of labor has gone up so much that you can easily, this is a 5 foot by 3 foot, 1.5 by 1 meters, and you can now looking at spending well over $7,000 or $8,000 for a brand new piece. The Chinese ones are a lot cheaper, but the main thing I want you to take away from this video is that it's very, very easy. And there is a very high probability that you will be buying a Chinese Hereke rug when you think that you're getting a Turkish one. So if you are in Turkey, if you are, I don't care who you are, where you are, if you're looking at buying a Turkish Hereke rug, be comfortable with the seller. There is no, for example, the few pieces that I have on my website, and I just started putting them on my website in 2021. Like I said, I've had my website for over 20 years. Because of the amount of fraud, I never featured Turkish rugs. It was unfortunate, but it was a personal choice that I made. But when I did put the few pieces that we have, one thing I made sure from the start is that I will show you, if you look on my website, you can actually see I have the Chinese ones marked as Chinese, Turkish as Turkish, and then this video right here that goes along with them, because I would rather you not buy one of these rugs than end up spending your money on something where they did not deliver what they promised you. So I hope this video is of help to you. There's a lot of other videos that I'm going to be putting on my YouTube channel and that you can also see on my website. Again, it's at mprugs.com. I hope this video is of help to you and best wishes. Take care. Bye-bye.